Hello, my name is Jacob Leitz, and this is my prototype for Code Explode, the game that I'll be working on that will be an innovative project to help people to learn code. A quick description of the game. It is an innovative game that teaches code and allows the player to modify the game so it does not become tedious, as you will see in pictures coming up. The game can also be modified according to the skill level, depending on whether a person is awesome at code or they're just starting out. The game differs from other games because it can be modified. Unlike a lot of the games that are online, this is a prototype of the start menu. As you can see, you can select between 1 or 2 players, and there should be possibly the space bar that I'm going to use to press start with. That's subject to change as well. This is just, like I said, a prototype. This will be the levels. It's going to start with Novice, and I will possibly put in Codemaster because I'm not particularly a Codemaster myself, so I won't be too good at actually making the most outstanding Python code that possibly can be made. I'm going to do my best, and I'm going to learn as much as I possibly can over the next couple of months developing this video game, and we'll see where I go from there. This is an example of the character menu. I possibly am going to stick with putting the characters on there, and I'm more than likely going to develop a couple of more characters as well. Along with those characters, there will be coinciding levels that will go onto the user interface of the actual playing screen. This is something that I may actually stick with as well, as far as putting the characters themselves on the character menu, or I may just put the name of the character that you can go ahead and select from. Game types. Now, there'll be different types of ways to play the games as far as like a missing element. A lot of the code will already be typed out, and then the player just goes ahead and puts in like the missing pieces. From scratch would obviously be the player would type out the complete code from scratch. Questions would be questions about Python coding, such as what is an integer, or I can't even think of any other questions at the moment. Disappearing code would be the player would go ahead and type out as much code as they could, and by a particular amount of time, maybe a line or something of the code would disappear. These are all things that are still subject to change as well. Selection menu would be things that the player themselves can select to what would apply to the game, such as a timer. The timer could apply or not apply. The player could have a selected amount of lives. That's something they could select as well if they did select that box, like 3 lives, 5 lives, whatever it may be. The bombs and the detonator and the claymores are all different types of explosives that the player could use against the opposing player to blow up their code. They could be allowed so many throughout the actual play, or they could get one in particular moments of the timer, and so on. That's subject to change as well. That's all stuff that I'm going to be working on. This is the game user interface, where the larger blocks are in the middle. The blue one would be for the player 1, the green one would be for player 2. The code instruction of whatever type of game it would be in the yellow right there. And where the players would stand is in the purple and the blue. And the other ones are all things that would be according to whatever the player wanted to select, such as if they would really wanted to have the lives, how many wins that they actually have over the other player, number of small bombs they're going to be using, the timer up top, and so on and so forth. This would be a little bit different if it was just one player. There would be one side to this, and it would look a little bit different. A summary of my game development and process. Once again, this will be an innovative game to help learn code through letting the player select their own operations, their own animations, and the level of the game. learning Python, doing a lot of art and animations, lots of coding, and learning to combine the two at the end will be the required things that I will have to put together in order to make this game a reality. And the overall process should be complete and done and put together before or around the Pro 481 class. And that's the conclusion of my presentation. Thank you very much.